Friends, Jai Hind. I keep getting a question very often from aspirants, especially the candidates who had gone to SSB many times and they could not make it for some reasons. And they keep asking a question which is a very puzzling for them, that they ask me, sir, I have done very good preparations, I had been going with all kind of energy level, synergizing myself. I did my best, and somehow at the conference level, I am not getting selected, and we really don't know the reason. Now, at this point, it's a very interesting thing I would like to tell you. Before that, let me tell you a kind of discovery I found out, that when I have been going through the background of all recommended candidates of Olive Greens. You all know last 20 years we are running Olive Greens, and we got more than 8,000 plus candidates who are officers in all the armed forces, cleared SSB through our training. So when you look at their biodata, if you look at their background, a very interesting thing I noticed, which I would like to share you today, that a bulk of them, a majority of these cleared candidates are good readers. Reading was their hobby. Again, watching news channels, also was their hobby. But mostly I found they are all good readers. So you should understand what is the significance of reading when it comes to SSB. A very important aspect of personality, very important aspect of our mental growth, we mostly ignore. And it is not written in any books, and you will never find even in social forums it has been discussed. I would like to share this interesting fact with you so that you all are better prepared for SSB, and not even SSB, to being a good leader in life, in any walks of life. You see, when you read a book, what happens? It is not in front of you, it is not visual, and you can't see it through a monitor. You can't see through a screen. So what is the requirement? Your brain has to do that extra effort of imagining that field, imagining what is there in that page. So the brain has to really focus on the letters and convert the meaning behind these letters into images, which mean pictures, maybe moving pictures also. So this capability of the brain only boosts your imagination power. So now I relate with SSB. You will always find SSB, many of the tasks which are designed by the DIPR, Defense Institute of Psychological Research, where we are all been trained, specially trained. DIPR has designed many tasks basically to see your OLQs, officer-like qualities, but the basic funda or the basic foundation is, when you design these models, it is on your imagination levels. Because for a leader, your imagination power is very important, because a good imagination only can make you a good planner in life. Why planning and imagination is very important in military leadership? Because most of the operations, military operations, it is planned, meticulously planned, connected with the ground realities, many times rehearsed. So you can imagine, if your imagination level is very poor, that also need to imagine, you will realize that a good operation could be a failure. Because you have to understand the enemy capabilities, you have to understand the map emerging, you have to understand the terrain which is emerging where we need to conduct the operations. Everything should be in your imagination alive. So this is one aspect of it. Another aspect is, for a good leader, your planning mind has to be super. Planning mind has to be very profoundly arranged, which can happen when you have a good imagination power. Not only good imagination which is connected to dreams, connected to like a novelist writing a book. No, your imagination should be grounded to the ground realities also. That is why when we design many task at SSB, like especially group planning exercise, even progressive group task, you have to imagine in a three-dimensional manner how the obstacles are going to be arranged, or your helping material, how it can be suspended from the obstacle where you can walk over it. So it's a three-dimensional imagination of the futuristic moment, especially group planning exercise. Even all psychological tasks are designed to assess your profound imagination level. This can only be developed in a prolonged manner. इस स्विच दबा के आप ऑफिसर नहीं बन सकते, और ये 2 हफ्ते के लिए आप सोचते हैं कि आप प्रिपरेशन करेंगे ऑफिसर बन जाएंगे. That is again out of imagination, realistic imagination. Yes, we all are in pipe dreams sometimes. हम fantasize कर देते हैं कि हाँ हम ऐसे करेंगे वैसे करेंगे, and not connecting with the ground realities. So, a word of advice, a caution to all the defense aspirants. I would like to tell you, with our vast experience in training and being a senior GTO in many boards for almost 5-6 years, we would have seen thousands of candidates at the SSB also, definitely in olive greens. In the last 20 years of training, we have been seeing scores of candidates, and this is a very glaring matter which comes out. Unfortunately, you all will understand, it is not only youngsters, it is a cancer spreading throughout the society, that we have slowly lost our reading habit. Why this is again, fastened, why it is now increasingly seen, because our patience to focus more than one page, or rather more than 1 minute, 2 minutes, has alarmingly decreased. That is why you would have seen reels are very prominent. Reels are very popular. You know why? Because 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. उसके ज़्यादा आपका patience नहीं है देखने के लिए. Your focus is disarrayed. So this is a matter which we feel should be understood by most of the candidates who are preparing for SSB. And not only SSB, ladies and gentlemen, it is for even becoming a leader in life. Because remember, you are not going to be a follower in life. That is what your decision, what you have taken. So the point I am going to emphasize here would be, get into reading habit. Get into imagination levels seen through reading, so that you enhance your capability to imagine things in a most realistic manner. That is how a good military leader can emerge. So this is a point which I keep telling my candidates whenever I get a chance, when they come here, or even if they don't come here, whenever I get a chance to speak to aspirants, I keep telling this point. Please improve your imagination power and the power of knowledge, because knowledge only will boost your imagination. Otherwise, you will think like a child only, because your mind will only have that much knowledge and that much definitely vocabulary to speak like a child. Or rather, when we see you at the SSB, our complete team of assessors will definitely see through your mental age. If I find your mental age is abysmally poor vis-a-vis your physical age, sorry, we are not going to select you. But unfortunately, we will not even discuss what all we have seen in your personality. It is kept confidential, but this is you to understand. And if you really want to do very well in the SSB, even without training, you must get into reading habit. I am the living example. I never did any training, but this is reinforcing my conviction. What I say, I was a very good reader. I was an ardent reader. And I used to read whatever I get. That is how I improved my English. That is how I improved my vocabulary. That is how I improved my probably imagination. I didn't know that time. But later, being a trainer for the Defense Forces officer selections, I understood this truth. And I'm very happy that there was no mobile those times. Because then probably I also would have been in your state. Because for us, the entertainment was, reading books, playing outside, and among friends, traveling, and seeing places, because if you see places also, it is adding on to your experience, and experience is also a very good teacher. So these are the aspects you must keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, and happy reading. Let's all get to where we belong, and you have a goal in life. Don't reduce it to a dream. Jai Hind.